right.
Oh, hi. My name is Nazir Ahmed. I am 23 years old from St. Paul, and I encountered ICE. I was detained, or let me rephrase it as I was kidnapped by ICE. I was kidnapped from ICE from my home. They came here, right there where I'm pointing at, and they came here. We're following two men. And while they were following two men, they came and stopped at this exact area near the office. And when they stopped by the office, I was walking towards that area, and I got caught in the middle of what was going on. I gave them my ID. I did whatever I was supposed to do by their orders. He used racial language, profound racial language towards me. And so that racial language felt very targeted. It was a word that many know of that is used towards black people. And I am a black person. I am a black person of Somali descent.
Yeah.
And that word is a very distressing word to hear, especially in this day, time, and age where ICE is going around terrorizing citizens and going around targeting people, targeting specific people.
So they were kind of like surrounding you or asking you for papers.
Hello, everyone. I'm so sad. My name is T. Omar, and I was arrested 3 days ago, and ICE, they brutalized me, and they hit me in the head right there in the car, hit in the head. Oh no, I'm so sad. And then they called me a stupid nigger, and they drove me around, and then they arrested me. They drove me around, and then in the car, they said, "You are under arrest for being a nigger," and I did not know what I did wrong. And then they drove me around for hours. They shackled me. Hold on, my big tooth is falling. And then they put me in a jail cell with shackles on my legs. And then all of a sudden, they just let me go. And they say no why. They tell me no reason. They just let me go. And then they hit me in the head again. And I just don't know why.
Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever this video finds you, welcome to Ticks. For those of y'all who are on the live broadcast, yes, I'm starting 2 hours early. I got something to do today, but I wanted to get out of the way while I had a chance, where Greg Bovino decided to talk to the people of Minnesota to kind of set the record straight. We won't be here long, so let's get to it, shall we? Anytime now. Whenever you want the chicken salad. Anytime. There we go. Get it up a little bit here. Whenever you guys are ready. There we go. Okay.
All right. Good morning. I hope everyone's doing well this morning. I'm Greg Bovino, Customs and Border Protection Commander at Large. for Minneapolis.
Whoever posted this on YouTube, you could have trimmed out a good 23 minutes and 49 seconds, bro. You guys suck.
I'll begin today's briefing, go through a few things, and then turn it over to my colleague, Mr. Marcos Charles. And at that time, after Mr. Charles is done, we'll take any questions that you may have. So operations continue unabated here in Minneapolis. Several illegal alien criminals taken off the streets yet again over the past 24 hours. Again, that is what we're here to do. And we're not going to be deterred in doing that. We are going to take these criminal illegal aliens off the street and make America a safer place, make Minneapolis a safer place. Again, that is why we're here. Let me detail a couple of illegal aliens we took off the streets over the past 24 hours that were walking our streets over those past 24 hours. Here's one, Mr. Carlos Gomez Acosta, charged with cocaine trafficking and a controlled substance violation. This is an interesting one because this individual was what we would term as a golf, which is a getaway across the border. This individual crossed the border and was a getaway. More than likely, over those past 4 years, when we had millions crossing the border unabated. This is what we get in our communities. What happens at the border does not stay at the border. And then we have Lin Lee, an illegal alien from Red China. This individual is charged with child neglect and endangerment. Let me say that again, child neglect and endangerment and prostitution. An illegal alien walking the streets of Minneapolis. Now, we just talked children yesterday a little bit. Let's talk a little more since we've got an illegal alien we just took off the streets of Minneapolis that was someone engaged in child neglect and endangerment. Here in the U.S. Border Patrol, I will say unequivocally that we are experts in dealing with children. Let me say that again, experts in dealing with children. Not because we want to be, but because we have to be. Over those past 4 years, hundreds of thousands of children were trafficked across that border. Guess who they came into contact with? Sometimes who was the very first law enforcement agency or American citizen that they saw? U.S. Border Patrol, followed by our counterparts at Immigration and Customs Enforcement. We're definitely the experts at dealing with children, unfortunately. Hundreds of thousands under that last administration. Not to mention the 300,000 lost children, 300,000 plus lost children were trafficked across that border. Now, when we've got the news media talking about children, I'd certainly love to hear more reporting on the 300,000 lost children. How about the 14 that we recovered at that pot farm a few months ago in Camarillo, California? The 14 lost children trafficked across the border that were found working illegally on a pot farm in California. Very little reporting from the Minneapolis news media here. I didn't really hear much from you guys. And then some of the more heinous crimes against children that are trafficked across the border that ICE and Border Patrol saw daily back when that border was out of control over those past 4 years. I'll detail one for you, folks, that's truly heinous. Border Patrol agents there in the El Centro sector encountered a young child, was approximately 3 years of age. The child appeared to be drugged, not with his parents, with strangers. Agents managed to wake the child up after doing what is known as a sternum rub, which is a technique to wake someone up that may be induced by drugs. The child woke up. We understood the child's parents were not with him, and medical examination saw that this child had non-surgical sutures in his abdomen. Let me say that again. Non-surgical sutures in the child's abdomen. He was being trafficked across the border in that condition. That's not an isolated event with the U.S. Border Patrol or ICE. We saw that many, many times. Drug children coming across the border, and guess what? Other than a couple of news outlets, I believe News Nation and Fox reported, nobody else would. Nothing on a child with non-surgical sutures in his abdomen, and nobody knows why. Now, the 5-year-old yesterday, some of you had questions on the 5-year-old yesterday. That 5-year-old remains with his family. We say that again, remains with his family. We know that. That false media narrative that was pushed out yesterday was, well, it was false. It remains with his family. But let's talk about who doesn't remain with their family. And I think this is the most important thing that we're talking about with children. How about our victim of the day? A victim at the hands of illegal alien criminals, these same criminals that we are taking off the streets that you see on these screens behind us. This victim was Rachel Morin. She left behind 5 children. Let me say that again. She left behind 5 children after she was killed by an illegal alien from Central America. He decided to murder her and hide her body in a culvert. Oh, wait a second. That was after he raped her. She's separated permanently from her 5 children. Let me say that again. Separated permanently from her 5 children. Why isn't that reported on? Very little reporting in the local news media or the news media on those types of situations. Now, I would call this the DSP syndrome. That's a term that I made up. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a Border Patrol agent. It's called the double standard phenomena. Say that again. The DSP is the double standard phenomena. We see this quite often, the DSP. American citizens that are arrested daily here in Minneapolis. Are they separated from their children and families? Absolutely, as they should be. Criminals face consequences. Criminals face consequences. But yet that double standard does not seem to apply to illegal aliens. Why is that? Perhaps someone could detail that for me, because I don't quite understand all the parameters involved in the DSP, the double standard phenomena. So as we continue this mission here in Minneapolis, we will continue to take these bad people, bad things off the streets, despite the DSP, the double standard phenomena, despite the false narrative reporting by many news media outlets. We will continue unabated in our mission to ensure there are no more Rachel Morins separated from her 5 children. And I'll close by saying organizations, victims organizations, victims' rights organizations. What about the angel moms? That one's one that's never reported on. How many victims do you need before an organization like that pops up? It's not 1 or 2. I can guarantee you that. Look at MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, from back in the 80s and 90s. That organization popped up because a lot of children were getting killed by drunk drivers. Well, what about the angel moms now? How many victims of illegal aliens that should not be here in the United States are causing family separation for American citizens that's not reported on by most news media outlets? How many does it take? I'd like to ask, excuse me, PBS or CNN or any of the other outlets. How many? How many does it take? I'd love that question. There's another phenomena there. I would love that question answered. But the fact of the matter is we do have angel moms. A lot of them, unfortunately. It's very heartbreaking to meet them, although they're not reported on very much. Heartbreaking. But we're here to ensure there are no more angel moms. We don't want more angel moms. And that's why Marcos and I are here, U.S. Border Patrol, ICE, and those allied law enforcement teams. We're going to take again these criminal aliens off the streets that you see behind us and that I've shown you this morning. We're going to take them off the streets wholesale. It's on. We won't quit. Thank you for your time this morning. I'll introduce Mr. Marcos Charles. Marcos.
Good morning. Thanks, Commander Bovino. Thank you all for being here to get the real facts of what ICE federal partners are doing in the Twin Cities. For us, every day is about public safety, not politics. It's a shame to see politicians and activists spreading fear in their own communities by creating a false narrative about what we do and who we are and who we arrest. The media and political activists have tried to deceive the American public about ICE and our operations. Yet again, they have failed, but the truth matters, and I'm here to tell you the truth about what we do. This week, ICRO conducted targeted enforcement operation to arrest Adrian Alexander Conejo Arias, an illegal alien who was released back into the interior of the United States by the previous administration. When officers approached Conejo Arias, he and his child were in a vehicle. Arias fled from law enforcement on foot, abandoning his child in the middle of winter in a vehicle. One of our officers stayed behind with that child while other officers apprehended his father. After conducting the arrest, my officers stayed with the child. They cared for him, took him to get something to eat from a drive-through restaurant, and spent hours ensuring he was taken care of. Again, my officers did that, not his father. My officers did everything they could to reunite him with his family. Tragically, when we approached the door of his residence, the people inside refused to take him in and open the door.
Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that about a bitch?
Let me say it again. They saw the young boy and they refused to open the door and take him back. This is the human side of the job that my officers do. They are family men and women. They have children of their own. They sacrifice everything for their families. I know for a fact that they were heartbroken to see the child's own family leave him behind. Fortunately, Conejo Arias eventually requested that his child stay with him. We do everything in our power not to separate families. So they took him back together to Minneapolis, here to the city, to the ICE facility for processing. And now they are being well cared for at a family residential center, pending their immigration proceedings. This is the real face of ICE, ERO, Border Patrol, and our allied partners.
That explains, because of course, as you dig into the report, as far as how it ended, that explains how the boy wound up in ICE detention with his father, despite the boy's family, really his mother, not taking the boy in. Now we get it. Okay. But you know, this is who white liberals, racist white liberals, want to defend. Okay.
Media doesn't know our officers, we do. My officers do the right thing no matter how difficult or how long it takes throughout the day. Let me debunk a couple more lies.
Please do.
Conejo Arias was not walking to school with his child, and we did not target the child. Arias fled from law enforcement officers and left his child behind. Again, middle of winter in a car. We will enforce the law as it's written, but we will go above and beyond to reunite families because that is who we are. I also want to clarify the recent arrests of the ringleaders of the city's church riots. Federal law protects the freedom of religion and the right to worship without interference. What these agitators did was not a peaceful protest. They rioted at church services. They screamed and harassed children. They denied Minnesotans the ability to worship peacefully. Again, this was not a peaceful protest. You don't go in front of up to a child and yell at them. That is not a peaceful protest. I've been in law enforcement for 33 years now, and this is the first time I've ever seen a protest in a church where they're harassing individuals trying to peacefully worship. It's disturbing to know that these individuals would target sacred spaces and viciously harass innocent families. Sacred spaces must be respected. While I cannot speak to ongoing investigations and prosecutions, I can say that ICE, DHS, and the Department of Justice are wholly committed to maintaining public safety and the rule of law. That is why we are here today. I am calling on everyone, politicians, the media, and activists, to put an end to the dangerous, irresponsible rhetoric once and for all. You are pitting communities against federal law enforcement, and you are pitting neighbor against neighbor in Minnesota. This is why I'm up here almost every day, to show you the good work my officers are doing. This is the same reason that Chief Bovino is up here every day. The public needs to know about the dangerous criminal illegal aliens we're arresting. They need to see the faces of the monsters that these agitators are trying to protect. Yesterday, we arrested the following individuals.
Just see him.
Jose Ocampo Leon, a criminal illegal alien from Mexico, convicted of sexual conduct with a child under 16. It also up on these. Gerardo Sanchez Acuna, a criminal illegal alien convicted of drug trafficking. Salvador Salazar Rivera, a criminal illegal alien from Mexico convicted of violent domestic assault that inflicted bodily injury on his spouse. These are not the people that you want living next door to you. Rudy Pineda Aguilar, a criminal illegal alien from Guatemala convicted of criminal sexual conduct. Not the people you want living by your schools. And finally, Jeffrey Ramon Rabanales, a criminal illegal alien from Guatemala convicted of assault, domestic assault, and damage to property. These are the people that those protesters and agitators are trying to protect. We have the photo. Moments ago, a group of agitators, a U-Haul van filled with shields. Oh, it's not coming up. All right. Shields and gear decided to come over here to the Whipple building and block traffic. They are currently trying to impede us from getting out of the building and going and do our mission. I'll tell you right now, they're going to fail, because no matter what they put up in front of us, we are here to do a job to protect this community, to protect Minnesotans, and to keep the criminal legal aliens off the street and put them where they belong, back into detention, and remove them from this country. Thank you, guys. Take questions now.
All right, we'll start from here.
You know what? At some point, Trump has to authorize the use of deadly force against these paid agitators who interfere with ICE when they block them in and everything. I mean, you got to start cracking these people in the skull. You got to start cracking these people's skulls. You just have to. That's the only way they're going to learn. Hitting them with pepper balls and tear gas, and then having them arrested where they get out like the next day and everything. Are you kidding me? That's not doing anything. These people revel in that. Those are like bragging rights. But if you do like you did to that one chick that was, pretending to be a man, where they put her eye out, yeah, you start doing stuff like that, you start giving them serious physical consequences for their actions, I guarantee you that she will not be back out there on the front lines talking about some protesting anymore. I 100% guarantee it. She'll see an ICE agent and probably crap her pants. She'll probably shave that beard off and stop taking those hormone treatments real quick. But anyway. What's up, Detro?
Appreciate you taking you talked about specifically 5 of the people.
Because pain makes you remember who you are.
We're relying on you guys to put that message out. We put these slides up for you so you can get the message out to the public of the good work that our men and women are doing. Sure.
Sorry, he's asking questions, but he's too far away. There's no mic, so you just have to go by the answers.
I will tell you this. We operate through intelligence and targeted enforcement. We are looking for certain individuals. As we're looking for these individuals, if there is somebody that is illegally in the country and amenable to removal from this country, we will arrest them. Correct. Yeah, because every day that they're here, they are committing a crime. They may have been here 20 years, but that means for the last 20 years, they have failed to do it the right way. And every day that they are here illegally in the United States. Now, we are not targeting those individuals, but if we come across those individuals in the course of our duties, we will arrest them.
Yesterday, Minnesota's Corrections Commissioner shared videos of inmates being transferred, handed over to federal agents, and he says he can't find a single case where the DOC failed to honor the ICE detainers when someone finishes their in-custody state prison term. He also says that you are overcounting the number of non-citizens that are in state custody by 1,000. I'm wondering if you could address those discrepancies between what you guys have said at these press conferences and what the state Commissioner of Corrections said.
Yeah, I clarified that yesterday by saying that the Department of Corrections for the state of Minnesota does cooperate. They hand people over at the end of their sentence, and we take them into custody. The numbers that we put out aren't, when I say the state of Minnesota, I'm not talking about just the Department of Corrections. I'm talking throughout the state, counties, any municipalities that may be holding people.
So he did say that there are about 207 in prison and 94 in county jails to make 301 total. I believe the numbers you guys were giving were more like 1,300.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the discrepancy?
The discrepancy is that he's Department of Corrections and we're Immigration Customs Enforcement with better databases than he has as far as who are out in custody.
In the state custody, though, county custody?
And throughout the United States. So the numbers I gave you were for Minnesota, correct? But our stats, our detainers are the ones that we count. We don't go into DOC data and count their data. It's not our data. Our data shows that we have over 1,300
In Minnesota.
in Minnesota.
Just a few questions on the 5-year-old. I'll rattle them out quickly. I'll repeat them if need be. Does the father have a criminal record? What charges was he arrested on? What's the son's legal status and immigration history? What can you tell us about any ICE interactions with the mother as well as her legal status and immigration history?
That was pretty fast. Can you-
Let's start with the first one. Does the father actually have a criminal record? And if so, what charges was he arrested on?
I will have to get back to you with any of this in-depth criminal history, but he was in the United States illegally, and I believe he'd been ordered removed.
I'm from the Yankee or press people. You have my contact.
Yep.
What's the son's legal status and immigration history?
The family came across as a family unit illegally a few years back. I can't get the date off the top of my head.
Can you tell us anything about ICE interactions with the mother as well as her legal status and immigration history?
We have not encountered the mother as of this time.
My question's for the commander. He's going to portions of your remarks, sir, and we appreciate you taking questions very
Of course.
much. We have Maggie Besco from NBC News. We have reported multiple times in depth.
Okay, so let me take it back. So the mother wasn't in the house when the little kid, when the father abandoned the child. Okay, so the mother wasn't there, but it was other family members. Okay, all right. Setting the record straight. Ain't perfect, but I can admit when I'm wrong. Let's go.
Statements saying that Liam Ramos is being held with his father in Texas. With that context in mind, we still
What up, baby?
saying that they're outraged at
What up,
the
baby?
idea of little kids being held in custody at all. So what do you say to those people, and what kinds of conditions are young children being held in?
As far as that family has not been separated, so it goes back.
We reported that.
Yes.
So even with that in mind, he's in custody, being detained in Texas.
Yes, with his dad. So that goes back to exactly what I just said, is many American citizens are separated when they're arrested, say by Minneapolis Police Department or any other police department. They are separated from their children when they're arrested. So take a look at what's happening here with this particular case. They're not being separated. That child is in the least restrictive setting possible. When I say that we're experts, both Border Patrol and ICE, in dealing with immigration cases that involve children, probably the most experienced anywhere in the United States by any domestic law enforcement agency. I know that in my particular Border Patrol sector, that saw thousands of individuals coming across the border during that last administration, including hundreds of children. I remember our agents in the back parking lot playing soccer matches with those children in the back parking lot. I challenge any other law enforcement agency anywhere nationwide to show me the fantastic care that ICE and U.S. Border Patrol provide children. Don't come across the border illegally, especially don't commit crimes, or there will be consequences. And American citizens face it. So, the law is fair and firm.
I may follow up. You said he's with his family. Another way of looking at that might be that we don't imprison or detain American children, penalizing them for the actions of their parents. So what do you say to those who are troubled by the
Oh my God, what a stupid.
child in custody? American kids don't endure that.
Well, I don't think there's a contrast, and the child could be without his parents somewhere, perhaps in social services care somewhere. And that's what we see oftentimes by children that are trafficked across the border. It's heartbreaking. They're not with any family. They're with social services or Office of Refugee and Resettlement. So the child is in the least restrictive setting with a family member. I don't think it gets any better than that. And as far as the care, the best care that I've seen is ICE, U.S. Border Patrol, and the way we treat those illegal aliens that come across the border. I'll let Marcos talk about it. It's an ICE facility, not a Border Patrol facility, sir.
So our family residential centers, I had the privilege of working in one back in 2015. So I can tell you firsthand, they get top-notch care. They have medical care. The food is good. They have learning services. They have church services available. They have recreation. They have special caregivers to see to the needs of the children and the mothers or families that are there. It's better. Honestly, it's better than social services. So, I mean, like if we sent the kid to DSS, it'd be way worse off than being there with their parents in an FRC.
Thank you, guys.
That's it. I mean, Greg, Bavino and whatnot, they wanted to kind of set the record straight. Well, not kind of. They 100% wanted to set the record straight that do understand we are out here grabbing the worst of the worst and those who are associated with them. And like I said, if they're looking for the worst of the worst and you get caught up, and you're illegal too, then you go too. And usually how they wind up running across other undocumented that aren't on their list is because they're following the trail of the ones that they're looking for, and they've come in contact with this under the radar undocumented illegal. So it's like, oh, well, we got you too. Get in the truck, bro. There's no excuses. We knew that last year. They talked about this last year. They're on the trail. They're on the hunt. They're not necessarily, in all honesty, they're not necessarily worried about the, Jorge that's the gardener or the roofer or anything like that, because the social security numbers that they're doing that Trump has eliminated, this is why they want the welfare rolls, the Medicaid, Medicare rolls. This is why they want all of that from these states. So that way they can go ahead and figure out who's illegal, And then that way they can kick them off the rolls and then get them up out of here. But the Democrats won't turn it over in these so-called sanctuary states or sanctuary cities because it would ruin their kickbacks. I mean, you see what's going on. This is why Trump cut the federal funding. Minnesota is just the tip of the iceberg. Matter of fact, hold on. Because I apparently the H-1 visas, that scam has been exposed. I normally don't like to do this, but I'm gonna do this right here. Peep this out.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And here's your meme of the day, brought to you by FiveMind.com. Holy frickin' moly, do I have a massive bombshell for you guys. In fact, this might be the biggest expose of the month, and I could pretty much guarantee you all the leftist networks, CNN, MSNBC, the whole frickin' list, not a single one of them will even address this report. So as per usual, let's go ahead and fill in the partisan gap here. I'm sure you guys know the publication, townhall.com. Well, they just dropped a bombshell undercover video, James O'Keefe style, exposing a corruption ring that's seemingly operating in Ohio's immigration courts. They've allegedly uncovered a racket that's supposedly helping Mauritanian migrants fabricate asylum claims, and it goes beyond just fabricated claims. No, it goes all the way to allegedly bribing judges $50,000 a pop per asylum approval. Again, the theme of the year is how deep does this fraud rabbit hole go? Well, apparently pretty damn deep. Let's go ahead and crawl in, shall we? We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so let's just go ahead and start off with this expose. Just take a look.
If I can get to the judge, you know, that's the only person you want to talk to is the judge.
Wait, say that again.
If I can get to the judge, it's okay. Sometimes it's some people,
so they'll pay you.
Some places, drink some big places where you don't even drink alcohol, but you're going to some big places.
Right.
The big boys sit down and drink. You visit those places.
Right.
Make a conversation with him.
Yeah.
You see. Yeah, this boy there, and that day, you work that day. You say, yeah. You say, okay. $50,000. I send everybody. See all these names?
Yeah.
I have them in my book. I go to the bar like everybody should. Spot the judge. I say, you work on this date? Be like, let me see my art calendar. You go in his phone. Yeah. What's your problem? I said, I got all these boys, man. All right. Want to let them back here to their boyfriend. All right, you better give me 50J, baby. You ain't scared of nothing. Oh, they leave. You know they pay bills just like me.
How does the judge get paid, though?
We have this deadline. We need $50,000. And then the list me look, count them down, calculating. You give me this, you give me this, gotta make the money. I have 40 men, but $50,000. So everybody gotta pay $1,200. Everybody coming here. I'm giving them work permits. Work permits is open to everybody. I don't do nothing where I'm gonna look behind my back if I'm gonna go to jail right now. I do legit things.
So when you send the money to, say, the judge, that's legit?
Yes, you have to have a lawyer. We can go to the judge because you know that's the one who talk to the judge is the liar. You get the lawyer and you say, okay, we have this sheet of paper. I need you to ask the judge how much to carry these people 3 more years in this country for me to get this project done. And you say, okay, give me $50,000.
You send the $50,000 to the lawyer?
Yes. $50,000 going to split up between everybody. You see this judge right here?
Which one?
And one of these judges, so if you want to talk to none of them, you don't want to talk to one judge.
Which one do I want to talk to?
One person. Any one of them just get one judge. All of them talk.
If you would do that with the chief immigration judge in the country, man, you're a gangster.
Back to anybody.
And so, yeah, it's basically exactly like we've been saying. Minnesota is just the tip of the iceberg. That was just the easy stuff to find. That's, you know, the low IQ, low brow level of fraud that frankly should have never even happened if it wasn't for Tim Walz and these cowardly, complicit Democrats. As I've said a million times, it's so much worse than you can imagine. It's so much worse than you think it is. And I'm glad that this is finally coming out because I've been sounding the alarm on this immigration fraud issue for a very long time. It's not just the asylum claims. No, I think honestly, I think it's the entire system. I think the entire H-1B system as well is totally predicated on fraud. And that I know is a very controversial issue. It's a big statement, but it's not so far-fetched. I mean, just listen.
See? Now, you say she's Caribbean. Yeah, she sounds like it. I bet she was getting PPP loans too. Yeah, see, this is why. Remember, there was like last year, there was that big thing concerning the H-1 visas, where Elon was like, "Yeah, we need to curb this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." He was against it. Trump was like, "Well, as long as everything is good, we can use it because of engineers and doctors and all of this stuff." But come to find out, these people they're running a fraud. They're running a scam with the H-1 visas. Like, is nothing sacred? Is nothing sacred? And understand, all of this undercuts Americans. Remember when Trump was at the NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists, and he was talking to them about black jobs, and they were like, "Well, what are black jobs? What are black jobs?" They were trying to make it a bad racial thing, like Trump was being racist. Trump was like, "Jobs that black people work. Like, why are you playing stupid with this?" And of course, as we know, black people, for the majority, especially black males, a lot of low IQ, piss poorly trained, because not just because of home life, but also because of the American school system, where you had in Baltimore a kid with a 1.9 grade point average was valedictorian. And the only reason why we know about it, because his mother was like, "Oh, hell no." His mother was like, "No, like, what do you mean my son is valedictorian? He's a functioning illiterate." And they was collecting the most money from a state/city in federal funding when it came to the Department of Education. Their freaking the head of the department in Baltimore, this dude was making, of course, the over $250,000. He cleaning up. The kids can't even read. You sending those people out into the workforce, and there's no jobs. So where are they going to work? You wonder why we have YNs? It's not just home training and schooling. I mean, oh my God. I mean, there's also nothing out here for them, because you have adults who have taken up all of the low income fast food jobs just trying to survive. And then also you have illegals who have taken over whatever little grass cutting or whatever, any little entry job, especially if you're an adult. You're over 21 years old. You sitting up here, you done graduated college or whatnot. You're out here trying to get a job with your degree. And I mean, outside of the cheap garbage degree that they be getting with the, Bolivian ballroom dancing for lesbians, you're out here trying to get a freaking job with your degree, and you can't because illegals, mainly Indians, have taken your job. So yeah, black jobs are under attack. They dump the criminals and the minimum wage workers in your neighborhoods. Meanwhile, that's just the Hispanics. They dump the Hispanics in your neighborhood. Meanwhile, the Indians, the Arabs, etc., they're not in your neighborhood. They wind up going into their own little areas. They get these fraudulent H-1 visas, and then they wind up taking what should be your job if you have a degree. So it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. So yes, black jobs, dummy. They're under attack because that black chick at the freaking NABJ, the one that was the Democrat lead, she was trying to make it a racial thing, like he was being racist. Like, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you, son. Don't you get it? No, I don't get it. Yeah, Because you're a surface dirt freak. Let me let him continue.
To this clip from Jessica Vaughn.
I think it really helped people to hit home to hear from this consular officer who had actually spent 2 years in southern India, in Chennai, adjudicating these visas. And what she told us was that they knew that there were about 15 consular officers who'd issue about 200 visas a day, H-1B visas a day, and 80 to 90% of them were fraudulent. People faked their credentials, their degrees. They were paying bribes to these consultancies that were run by Indian politicians. They had people stand in for job interviews for them. The whole thing is just a massive fraud on our system. And they knew this. They wrote reports about it. They proved it. And yet their supervisors at the State Department said, no, just keep cranking out those visas because we're under pressure from Indian politicians who, by the way, own some of these businesses and are making money off of it. The employers in the United States are in on it as well. The Indian workers, when they get to the US, are paying them bribes. And it's all a scheme set up specifically to replace American workers. And we let it happen hundreds of thousands of times every year with new workers. You know, this has been going on for so many years, and government agencies are just telling consular officers, just keep issuing these visas. It's so unfair to Americans. It's such a myth that we need these workers, and the whole, as you said, the thing needs to be shut down.
Immigration fraud is a massive issue that nobody seems to be talking about. And that number of 80 to 90% of these H-1B applicants being totally fraudulent, fake credentials, fake degrees, bribes being paid, I don't think it's so far-fetched. You know, people don't like stereotypes, right? But stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. They're simply pattern recognition. And that obviously applied in the uncovering of the Somali rackets, let's put it. And well, when you think of fraud, when you think of scams, what's the first thing that comes to mind? India, obviously. And well, then you look at the stats, Indian nationals receive the majority of H-1B visas, nearly 73% in fiscal year 2022, making them the largest group of high-skilled beneficiaries, particularly in tech. And people will often say, well, that's because Indians are so talented. They built Silicon Valley. They're so smart and so talented, and there's so many of them, and that's why they're all coming in. And to that I say, no, absolutely no. This is not the case. And it's not to be mean. It's not to be a bigot. It's not to be racist. No, it's because it's simply untrue. The reason they're so overly represented in H-1B visas is because they're scamming the freaking system like you cannot believe. In fact, based on my personal experience, it's almost as if they've taken the entire system over. They're running fraudulent immigration mills. And I know this again from personal experience because I have a friend, a family friend, who's a software engineer and works on an H-1B, and at one point he was in a difficult situation with his H-1B visa, and the only way that he was able to get a job was through one of these Indian mills. I followed throughout the entire process, and I saw firsthand exactly how it works. And what's funny is I was talking about this months ago, and now all of a sudden you're seeing videos like this.
All right, we're heading over to a company called 3Bs Technologies. Now, there were actually 27 H-1B visas approved in 2022 through 2025 for this particular company. The jobs include a software developer, software engineer, IT project manager. So I'm thinking like very high-tech hub for 3Bs Technologies. Let's see what we find out. Are we sure? Do we have the right address here? This is 27 H-1B visas for this location, and it's a residential home. Okay, 130 Darbon Lane, Irving, Texas, 75039. This is the address that's on here. So would have 27 H-1Bs. Doorbell's broken. Looks like they boarded up the window. Hello? So very strange. 3Bs Technologies is at a house, as it turns out, and the Ring doorbell's broken, so I can't even press it. They're probably watching me right now because they've got security cameras all over the place. No one at the door. No sign of life for the 27 H-1B workers at 3Bs Technologies.
Where people are starting to catch on to the pattern. They set up these operations at residential addresses, and then they're essentially acting as middlemen for massive corporations. Like the big publicly traded companies are relying on these firms to import all kinds of H-1Bs, and they're working by proxy through these firms for the major corporations on contracts, where of course they could pay them less. They don't have to give them health insurance or any other benefits, and the whole thing is a visa mill. And yes, it's all predicated on fraud. Again, Again, my family friend showed me exactly how this works with his coworkers. You get all these junior talents with no experience that are brought into the country, and then the middleman firm here simply fakes your resume and gets you hired as a senior software developer, as a lead on these projects. We're talking recent university grads on student visas with literally no job experience, having their entire resumes faked, and then boom, they're working for a Fortune 500 company as a team lead. And then you might be asking, well, how do they pull it off? Well, they've got actual people with experience working in these middlemen group that then basically hold their hand for months on end until they can kind of get the job done. But basically, this is how it works. They're hiring hundreds of people per firm and outsourcing that labor to massive publicly traded corporations. They're undermining American workers. The entire thing is a massive racket, and Indian consultant groups are at the core of all of it. There is so much fraud everywhere. Fake asylum claims, fake resumes, fake credentials, H-1B mills. It feels almost as if every single element of the American government has been infiltrated, abused, manipulated, and so much of it is running on fraud. And of course, the American people are blind to it, and the officials are allowing it to happen. Obviously, for two reasons. A lot of this immigration fraud benefits the Democrat Party, and the H-1B scams, that's highly beneficial for the major corporations that don't want to hire Americans. Now, look, obviously, I'm not an investigator. I'm not the DOJ. I'm not going to be able to get all the details and expose the entire racket here, expose the entire system, but just mark my words. If this administration starts peeling the lid a little bit, if they start really looking into what's happening underneath the surface, I mean, holy friggin' moly, is it going to blow your mind? And like I said earlier, I've been talking about this for a while, and already a lot of the stuff that I've been saying is coming to light here. Well, I guess expect that to continue. It's not just that they've opened the floodgates to replace American workers, it's that the whole thing is predicated on a lie, that Americans don't have the talent, they can't do these jobs, they're not smart enough to get these jobs in tech, and so we need to import all these genius Indians. This notion is complete and utter garbage. It's nonsense. The Indian community is simply just shameless, and they're committing systemic immigration fraud.
I remember I was at a cookout, black cookout for a football game up in Kennesaw, talking to the bartender, a black chick who claimed that she was trying to get her law degree. Of course, you know, raggedy ghetto single mother claimed that she's trying to get her law degree, and she was trying to say, we were talking about that factory down here in South Georgia, a Honda factory, and she was trying to say that American workers don't know how to build car batteries. I said, don't insult the American worker like that. Like, we invented batteries. I have never run into somebody. I understand why black people are anti-American, because, you know, the whole racism thing and whatnot. But this is ridiculous. You start in. I'm not going to get into a tangent about it. All I can say is just that if we don't get this together, which, you know, of course we have a president that is trying to get it together, we're going to be in trouble. We're going to be in trouble. Luckily, he's getting it together, and luckily, J.D. Vance, his VP, is on the same page as he is, our next president. Luckily, they're on the same page. They understand what the mission is, and they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop, or else all is lost. I don't know why black people think that if America falls to a foreign company or a foreign entity, that we're going to be fine, that these people are going to love us and hug us and squeeze us and hold us. Like that's so not true. Like, we will be just like the whites that they kick out. Like, they will kick us out too. We'll have a target on our back too. Any rate, I just want to drop that in there, let y'all know what Greg Bavino and everything was up to. What's up, Troy? Let's get out of here. I know I get preachy, but I mean, I could talk about raggedy ghetto stuff, or I can tell you what's coming down the pike. I'd rather tell you what's coming down the pike. Y'all be safe.
No, gentlemen, Mr. Butler's been up north, I hear. Don't you agree with us, Mr. Butler?
I think it's hard winning a war with words, gentlemen.
What do you mean, sir?
I mean, Mr. Hamilton, there's not a cannon factory in the whole South.
What difference does that make, sir, to a gentleman?
I'm afraid it's going to make a great deal of difference to a great many gentlemen, sir.
Are you hinting, Mr. Butler, that the Yankees can lick us?
No, I'm not hinting. I'm saying very plainly that the Yankees are better equipped than we. They've got factories, shipyards, coal mines, and a fleet to bottle up our harbors and starve us to death. All we've got is cotton and slaves and arrogance. That's treachery!
I have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Right. Hi. Thanks for the fun.
Get the fuck out!